So I wound up turning an eccentric bushing, which you can see is taller on the top and shorter on the bottom. And that allowed me to move the sight post up higher in relation to the bore. Still wasn't enough. So I wound up having to modify the rear sight. I turned the drum down on my lathe. This thing will focus. I shortened the drum up, I chucked it up in the lathe and turned a bunch off the bottom of it. And to compensate for that, I had to file some grooves in the inner parts of the drum so that you could still get proper sight picture through it. And that still wasn't quite enough, so I took some of the bottom of the sight off where it mounts to the base. That still wasn't quite enough. It was closer, and I wound up having to braze a little bit of material on the front sight post to make it a little bit taller, which worked out perfect. To make the rear sight work was fairly simple as far as the base is concerned. I just took the base and I lapped it to the shape of the receiver by laying some sandpaper over the receiver and running that back and forth, and then a little finer compound to get it close. I had to just use a grinder and some files and make a notch so that the bolt handle would clear the sight base. No big deal there. I wound up being able to drill a hole in the sight base and run one of the factory scope base holes for a screw there. That worked out alright, and the rest of the base is just put on there with some really good epoxy. The same stuff I use on the knife handles. The bolt from the factory sounded like a zipper when you ran it, so I polished it and used lapping compounds that I made with the telescope grinding abrasives that I used in the mirror making. So that's nice and smooth now. A lot of little stuff. If I were to do it again, I would probably not do it again. I would just purchase a CZ527 in 76239 and call it good instead of trying to run the 308, or just buy a scout rifle to begin with and take the